Welcome back to Crochet with Casey. Today we are going to be embroidering some baby safe eyes, so let's get started. We're going to have our hook. I use the one that I use the same to make my plushie. We're going to have a sewing needle, black cotton yarn, and some white cotton. Make sure they're both cotton yarn. So first we're going to start out with the cotton and make sure you thread it through your needle. If you are coming from my Jeffrey the Jellyfish pattern, which will be linked in the description below, I suggest going on the other side of the body from where this lip is. Or if you have a pattern where you can see where you started the pattern, go to the other side. So first, for this pattern, I like to do it between rows 5 and 6. So you're going to come in from the side and go 1 stitch under, so between rows 6 and 7, and then 1 stitch above, so rows 4 and 5, to make it perfectly even in the middle. Of course, you can always go larger. This is just how I personally choose my plushies. So from then on, you are literally just going to be going in the same direction as many times as you need until it looks good. So I sped up this video. I believe I did 9 times. And then I like to keep it symmetrical, so I did 9 times on the same side. And make sure you are using your finger or your thumb or whatever to guide your yarn where it needs to go. You could shape the yarn, not just with your sewing needle. Alright, now moving on to the other side, I go back up into the top one last time to make it 9. And then with this pattern, I like to have the eyes 3 stitches apart, so I count. Sometimes I like it between like 3 to 4, it just depends on how large my eyes are. And then I go straight to the top, and then I go 2 stitches down to make it how it was on the other side. And then we're just going to go again 9 times in a row. You can do less, you can do more, it's just your preference and how large your actual plushie is. Alright, so now we are coming up to an end. I like to leave the yarn on the right side, knowing it is my finishing yarn, so I'm not going to touch that side. And then I am going to sew this side onto the left side, so I know it's still my working yarn. And I'm just going to leave the black yarn over there. And we are going to go ahead and now grab our white yarn. So again, we are going to start it off on the side. I personally like to start it where I started the black yarn, and then we're going to go to the very top of the first eye, down to the very bottom, just like we did with the normal black yarn. And we're only going to do it 1 time, but make sure you're going to put it in the inner corner of your eye. And then you can pull on both sides of the yarn to shape it and get it into the place. And then you're going to do the same for the second eye. And then leave it off to the side just for a moment so you can see if that's the shape that you like. If it's not, you can just take it out and redo it. This part is very forgiving. And now we are going to go and do the center part. So I go straight in through the middle, and I only loop it around 1 thread, and then I pull it straight back down the same hole where it came out of. I'm a visual learner, so I am not going to speed up the second eye so you can see what I'm doing. He's already looking cute. I always cover the other eye to see if that's the right placement. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side, but please remember, they're sisters, they're not twins, they're probably cousins. They're not going to be exactly identical, but you can try to make it as close as you possibly can. As you will see here, that I did mess up, and so that's okay. I go in and I fix it by tightening one side, loosening the other side, and just making it fit. Once I get it where I think I want it, I double check, kind of put it away from me, make sure it's where I want it, and then I go ahead and I pull that white thread onto the other side so it's no longer my working thread, and I grab that black thread that we had before, and we are also now going to put it at the top of the eye, but on the opposite side of the white. Now we're gonna, I call them eyelashes. My husband says they think they look like they're angry, so this part is like a preference. I go one stitch diagonally down to make the eyelash. I think it looks cute. You let me know if they look angry or not. And that's it. Now we're going to go to the other side and do the same thing, but make sure that it is on the outside of the white part. And after that, it is no longer a working yarn, so make sure you put it on the same side as all the other ones. And then here's kind of where I decided it's going to be a working yarn again, because we're going to make a mouth. Why not? So to make a mouth, you are just going to sew it underneath one eye. I like to do it on the outside corner, so the mouth is a little bit wider than the face, and then directly over. And you could leave it there if you want a straight mouth, or you're going to go into the center close as you can, and then you're going to go underneath the original mouth straight line, and then you're going to go back in the same exact hole and pull it tight so it's more of like a little V shape. But again, this is your personal preference. And now we are just going to be like working the yarn around, tightening it in some places, loosening it in others, just to make it the shape that I want. That is it. Now we are going to thread it straight through to the other side, and we are going to tie off. I'm going to speed this up super quick, but I like to ensure that it is going to be baby safe. So I tie it as many times into different strings or yarn as I possibly can, and then I cut it, and we're going to use that hook to tuck it underneath, and then I'm going to save that yarn in a jar so I can stuff a different plushie later. And there you have it. We officially embroidered some eyes, baby safe eyes for stuffed animals. Like and subscribe for more YouTube videos.